had it been distorted after, but during the creation, man and woman, man, Yahweh created man in his image. Mm-hmm. And he also said to reproduce. But notice he didn't say that until he had created man. Mm-hmm. It just makes sense. Yeah. Because he made everything else. Starting with the third day, he started telling or saying, reproduce after its own kind. First day light, second day water, divided waters. Third day he created dirt, he brought up the dirt, vegetation came up, and he said, multiply after your own kind. That's the one that gets us, because we have not understood. See, I was raised in the city, so I have to study these type things and ask questions about horticulture and agriculture and, planting and putting into the earth and reaping. And people, I just get amazed when I get around people who really know something. I just sit with them and talk a little bit and as they're talking, they don't know my mind is in the stratosphere now. But I'm trying to absorb what they understand and they know firsthand from dealing in the dirt, in the earth. The principle that is there. But then we learn from experience as well. As men, we are husband. This is what Yahweh said, I have no man to till the earth. And he made us what is called husband. Husband means farmer. So as we become a planter into the earth, we take on a wife. My wife. And we plant seed into the earth that is supposed to reproduce after its kind. And if we as men would get this concept, this is not where I'm going, but since I'm here. Wonderful. If we as men can get the concept of planting in the earth, I think we would think again before we plant the wrong seed. Amen. In the wrong ground that doesn't belong to me. That's right. This is my wife. And I have no business planting in any other ground. Because what it's going to now produce is thorns and thistles. See, the thorns and thistles didn't come up with Adam and Eve right then. It was much, much later. They probably didn't even see it. But even though Adam lived to be 930 years of age, it's possible he didn't see it. Because it didn't come up till generations later. After there was a destruction, and after the destruction, thorns and thistles began to come up in the earth. So could he chose not to believe it because he didn't see it? He could have sinned some more. But we who are here today, we see the thorns and the thistles. We have to be careful in what green we walk in. We have to always be conscious of, are there thorns? Well, you don't think that's true? Just pick up a rose and take it home to the wife. You're going to think twice before you just grab it. Although there's a beauty to it, just sitting there, you're gazing upon it, and your eyes connect and say within oneself, the Creator created this. want to take it home to my flower to show her how she looks in my eyes. That the Creator who created her is the beauty that meets this rose. But then, when I grab it, I learn my first lesson. That the beauty that I see came with a consequence.
Amen.
And because I grabbed it without my knowledge of the danger,
That's right.
then the beauty faded. Because now I'm concerned that I'm stuck and I have pain. But it wasn't until after I committed myself without understanding the principle that has already been placed in the earth.
That's right.
And too often, we as men, and I'm not hopping on men, but we as men, we are the priest.
That's right.
Hallelujah.
Absolutely.
And what we do affects our ground that we plant in.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Isn't that what happened with Adam and Eve?
Absolutely.
Let me just make it simple. Because Adam partook in sin, the whole earth, everything that has been created have been affected because Adam.
Wow. That's right.
Oh.
Yes, he did give away his blame. He blamed his wife, who blamed Satan. And when it got back full circle to the one he created in the earth, Adam, he finally blamed the Creator. The one that you gave me. This woman you gave me. So the consequence have already been sown into the earth. And then when our home is falling apart, we want her to stand by our side and go on television and say she's going to stand with me.
Yes, they do.
Or if you're the pastor, I've sinned.
Yeah.
And there she is, she's still with me. He still ain't gonna let her come up in the pulpit because she might say something. I gotta fix this. All I need you to do is let them see you walk out with me and you have a seat. Because I gotta work on this. But how often? When will we learn?
Praise God.
Shemoth. Exodus chapter 11. Those 7 days that he used to create everything. The 4th one he used as a very special time. So I did 1, 2, 3. That was the seed. Now we're at the 4th. And those of you who understand the principles or the days of creation, what was the 4th thing that he created? Sun, moon, stars. And these are luminaries that give light. But, if I may, light was already spoken in the beginning, the first day. So, what gave it light? If we have the S-U-N on the 4th day, the only thing I can get is that it had to be the S-O-N on the first day.
Hallelujah.
Because the first day he said, let there be light. So that was wisdom and understanding that he was imparting into the earth. Doesn't it also say that and his spirit hovered above the waters? And later on he said, we shall be what? Living waters?
Living water shall flow from our bellies.
Out of their bellies shall flow.
That's right.
He made us in his.
Image.
So from the very first day, he had us in his mind, knew that we would fall, so he redeemed us before we even got here. And isn't that odd? Because just the prefix re means again. I am an educator. I'm a teacher by trade as well. So I really didn't need a dictionary for that one. But re means again, to do again. So he redeemed us. Why? Because he already knew we would what? Fall. So really, because we didn't come until when? The 6th day. But he knew that once he gave us the commands, that he even tricked. You know, I love Yahweh. Because I see this where he tricked even Hasatan. Because if Hasatan knew what he was doing, he would never attack Hava and Eve in the garden. Because what he did is he set in motion the redemption that was already in plan, but it was just sitting there until the act manifested itself. And then once sin kicked in, time began, because Adam wasn't supposed to die. In the day that you sin, you shall what? Surely die. In the day that you sin. That was the preference. In other words, let me reverse that. If you don't sin, you will not die.
Right.
So he sinned. We know he sinned because our parents are dying. I just buried the last of my grandparents a few years back now. They was with us for a long time. Each of them, most of them, got into their 90s, which is still young in comparison to our forefathers long time back. We can't even believe that people live to 600, 700, 800, 900 years of age. But one day is what? As 1,000 years. In that day, 930 years, 70 years deficit for Adam. But it's going to be restored. Because that 70 comes up over and over and over again.
Hallelujah.
And this is why we're here. Because we're in the process of being restored to Adam. And I'm not going to fool you. I'm not going to say everybody, Yeshua's coming back and everybody's going to go to heaven. I'm not going to say that because that's not the case. He says some 30, some 60, some 100-fold. So if you look at the principles of seed and harvest, which now this is talking about the 4th one, seed and harvest, you plant, you also reap. But he said 30, 60, 100-fold. And it's kind of vague, so we can't really figure out, well, when's everything placed? If you go to the end, the millennial reign, it tells us, and after the millennial reign, Satan shall be loosed for a little while. Revelation. And after that, hell and death will be put to an end. And all of Israel shall be saved. So when you say all, you're talking about 100%. So he gives us a time that after the millennium, after Yeshua comes back, and he reaches out to all the nations, beginning with his called out ones that will be called out from the nations. And so this is what I want to look at. What is the process of being called out? When a man takes a bride, there's many that come forth. Many women